Last week, the world as we knew it completely changed. My life as a professional photographer imploded. Like the rest of the country, overnight and completely unexpectedly, I found myself for the first time in 43 years unable to carry out my work. I've succumbed to the fact that I'm just going to have to mope around the house, probably annoying the wife, and worse still, it could be like this for months. So I'm left with two choices. One, fester in my own self-pity and probably binge on box sets. Or two, embrace the downtime and enjoy creatively shooting items that we can find around the house and the garden. Times are pretty tough for us right now. So I thought, why don't we as a community of photographers take this opportunity to try to capture something a little different from the norm. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to help you get creative. I fully intend to post videos that will help stir up those inner creative juices. I think this self-isolation thing is driving my wife insane, driving me insane. I think the wife's ready to off my head. It's driving us bonkers. 2 weeks of just staying at home because unfortunately, like I'm sure a lot of you guys are in the same position as me, I'm not able to go out and do any work at all. So it's pretty tough for me right now. I'm sure it is for you guys. However, rather than sit down and like I said earlier, fester in my own self-pity, I've decided to come up with, well, I've actually penned 20 ideas. I'm going to create 20 tutorials photographing everyday things that we find around the house and in the garden. I'll be using pro equipment, my normal pro equipment, and I'll also be using cheap entry-level equipment. I've got a couple of entry-level digital SLR cameras. What's this one? This is a Nikon D5000, and you know I'm a Canon fanboy, but I've used this in one of my tutorials before in the past, and it's a fantastic camera. It's got an 18 to 55mm kit lens on there as well, which is more than adequate. So assuming you can't join in with the tutorials is wrong, because it doesn't matter what your equipment is. Obviously, you need flash when we start talking about the flash. But let me just very quickly talk about the flash, because the flash is my passion, my number one genre. So I get super excited every time I do any type of photography using flash in a creative fashion. I love teaching it in the studio, and everybody comments on exactly the same thing. Gary, you turn into a different person when you teach flash. So if ever you are going to learn anything about flash, whether you own a flash or not, then make sure you check out those tutorials. Obviously, I'm going to say that anyway. But yes, I've got 20 great ideas. I'm going to make the tutorials as simple as I can, as jargon free as I can, and this is the important part, lots of the tutorials that I'll be teaching you'll be able to do with your kids as well, should you want to. Instead of doing that with them, you can have some fun and learn maybe a new skill or two, and more importantly, entertain the kids as well. So I'll try and make the tutorials really light-hearted as well. Everything, like I said, from camera basics all the way up to using your flash off camera in a creative fashion. The only one drawback you're going to have is that if anybody's interested in learning anything about portraits, then the only one downside you're going to have is my model. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to employ a model or to draft kids in for obvious reasons. But I want you to take all that with a pinch of salt, because it's really about the technique and not about the final image. And talking about downtime and talking about, this process that we can indulge ourselves in, which is called learning, even I'm doing it now, because I've gone out and I've invested in a very overpriced webcam. Webcams are so expensive at the moment, bloody hell. But I've got a full HD webcam because I've always fancied doing a live stream on YouTube. Sunday, 6 o'clock will be my first live stream on YouTube. So just before you disappear, if you can join me on Sunday night, don't bring coffee and don't bring tea. It's Sunday. We got no work on Monday. Well, most of us. So bring a glass of wine or something, because I know I will be. No theme for it, by the way. It's my first ever live stream. I want to know how I get on with it. If I enjoy it, I'm sure I will. So just really come to the ball and bring your questions, and we'll just do what most other photographers do during their first ever live stream, and we'll do a standard Q&A. But I really, really, really would love it if you could join me. In actual fact, it'd be slightly embarrassing if it was just me and two other people there, but I'll just blame technology for that. As a quick promo for me as well, yesterday I interviewed a photographer from Kenya. So we did a FaceTime live stream yesterday, so that should be quite interesting. But he's a wildlife photographer and his images blew my mind. I've known of him for a while. I've been trying to get hold of him to do an interview. Thankfully, we find ourselves in a position where both of us can actually find time to conduct the interview, and I must admit, I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. The guy is so nice, but I'm not just saying it for the fact I want people to watch the interviews, or the interview should I say, but his images are absolutely mesmerizing. In actual fact, while you're here now, let me very quickly just show you 6 of his images. I've just randomly chosen 6, it could be 5, or it could have been 100, but take a look at these 6 images and tell me what you think. I told you that his work was phenomenal, and I'll probably release that video next week. So please, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that interview, and more importantly, that you don't miss the whole bunch of tutorials that I'm about to get stuck into making. That's it. Hopefully I can see you guys on Sunday. But in the meantime, stay safe everybody, and thanks for being here right now. That means a lot to me. Cheers.